Alright guys, you've been asking, and today I'm going to deliver. I'm going to answer the question, did I finally get the title for the Duster? Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we got some exciting stuff on the channel, and I do mean exciting. Now if you're a first time viewer here and don't know what we're talking about here, this is our 74 Plymouth Duster that went underwater during Harvey. We rescued it and we got it running. If you haven't seen the videos, we got all videos about that, so if you haven't seen them, check the links down in the description for all the past videos on this car so you can get caught up to today's event. But today, let's talk about the exciting thing here. Did or did I not get the title for the car? Well, obviously I'm making this video, and you can probably tell that I'm very happy. So yes, I did get a title here. It's in my seat here. Came in this little envelope here. As you can see, we have a nice, clean blue original title. Now it's still in the previous owner's name. We just got this, and I didn't worry about getting it transferred yet because we are related. So I am not too worried, but I do have the title, and he gave me dozens of other paperwork here. I'll show you. Let me go here. Oh man, look at all this stuff. I have right here the original window sticker. That's pretty cool. I've never had a vehicle with the original sticker before. We also got, hey, they found the original owner's manual. It did not go underwater. That's very exciting. I even actually have. This is actually pretty cool right here. This yellow one, if I don't lose all the paperwork here on my side. We actually have the build sheet of all the options that was hand done and everything. This is like a collector's gold mine right here, what I have. I mean, collectors would die to have this documentation with their car. And I have it all. Everything. Every documentation for this car, I have. So that is pretty exciting, especially for, when you're got something like this. Alright, so now that we have a title, now what? That's the big question everybody's asking. Now what, Cliff? What are you going to do with this car? Well, we have it running. Well, it runs somewhat. Let's just leave it like that. It does run, and there's been a lot of talks of what to do with the car. Alright? There's a lot of fantasy things I'd like to do with the car, and there's a lot of, well, we're got to be stuck in reality of what I can afford to do. It's going to be the biggest thing for this car. Now eventually it does need a full-blown really restoration. Now it looks good from the camera view. I guarantee you're probably looking at it and go, Cliff, you could probably just buff this thing out and it'll probably look good, and it would. Problem is we have a lot of rust areas. Not really super bad, but we have a lot in the wheel well areas down here. So there's a lot of stuff that's been eaten up. This side's really bad over here on this wheel corner. It is rusted out pretty good. The whole section really needs to be replaced. So there is a lot of rust issues on this car. It just doesn't look it. It's in the very hard detailed places, the corners, the side, but it's not very bad. It's not as bad as some cars. Let's put it like that. But we do have the normal rust spots. So we're gonna have to deal with those because rust is like cancer. If you don't cut it all out, take care of it, it will just keep growing and getting worse. And that's what will happen with this. It will just keep getting worse the longer I neglect it. So I can't really neglect it too long, so we are going to have to do something about that. But for right now, see, I've had this plan, but I wanted to do with the car, but it's changed like 10 times. The original plan was let's stuff a 440 out of a motorhome, put it in there like the guys on Roadkill did, and have this thing going. And so I looked into it. I found out that it has a little bit, it can fit in there, 440 will fit in there, but you have to give up some certain luxuries like, power brakes, possibly maybe power steering, depending on your headers you're using and all that. So there was a lot of things, and I think air conditioning you had to give up because there'd just be no room in it. And my wife was not going to ride with me if I didn't have air conditioning, which was kind of semi-okay until I got beat up over the head. So we're going to have air conditioning in this car now. All right, I didn't really have a say on that. So when I started looking into it, the 360 would be probably one of the best bets. And I had thought about stroking it out to a 408 or 410, whatever, and putting that in there. Well, because I already got the 4-speed transmission, we'll need a beefier rear end for sure to handle the power. So there's a lot of things that's been going on. I like the 360 stroked out to a 408 with a 4-speed and a bigger rear end. You know, I can have power brakes, power steering, and air conditioning. I know I'm spoiled, sort of, yeah, spoiled to all that nice fancy options. Even though this car has none of them on there, no air conditioning, no power steering, no power brakes. So, you know, some people are like, well, Cliff, it's not really a big deal. You're not, you know, why it doesn't have it to begin with. Well, it'd make the car a much nicer driver. I mean, when you have a Volkswagen with no power steering, it's much easier to drive because it's a smaller car, it's lighter. But when you're driving one of these big tuna boats around with no power steering, you know, it gets to be a little bit of a pain sometimes. In fact, I drove this thing probably once so far, up and down the road, and I ended up pushing it halfway back home. And it's heavy. It's a heavy car. It ain't like the Volkswagen where I can just push that thing by myself. This thing is heavy. I couldn't do it by myself. Whew. But right now I haven't found a motor or anything that I want to go back. In fact, I've been to several junkyards and I found only to find out that they didn't really stock anything past 98. So any motors from the 70s or 80s, they're gone in this area. I'm sure I can find some, but I went to some of the local ones that I do business with normally. Figured maybe we could work out a sweet deal. So, but luckily nothing has happened on that. So right now, I think the plan is for now is I can't stand to see the car sit here for another 5 years, waiting to get rebuilt, not driving, just sitting here. You know, cars are meant to be driven regardless, in my opinion. So I believe for now I've looked into it. I went through the motor here and see what all he's going to need to get this 6-cylinder back up to tip-top shape to get it roadworthy, and all the stuff I was going to need to make this thing. And I at least would need to start off getting this thing roadworthy. This is before tires, about $600. I imagine it would need about a total of $1,500 invested in it to make this car pretty much roadworthy. That's with tires. We got to redo the engine. You know, it's got a head gasket. The water pump's gone, so we might as well just pull it out. You know, redo it. Buy an engine gasket set and get new gaskets all over it. You know, it's been in there for a long time, and check all the timing chain out, make sure it's still good, and probably go from there and see what we want to do. So that'll probably be what we'll do for now, is we'll do videos on showing you how we'll taking the motor in and out of the car, getting it all nice cleaned up, putting it back in the car, and driving it around and do a few little things and have fun with it for a little while until we've getting our other stuff built up and ready to go, and then tearing it. Now I'll probably be doing some body work on the side, you know, since it'll be like I guess we'll have to use the term a rolling restoration. I'm not really too fond of those. I mean, but the last time I did this with my Volkswagen, and when it's your only car, it's kind of a bad idea, really. It's a bad idea to roll restoration your only car, you know. But now that I have other cars, this thing I don't feel too bad making a little bit of a rolling restoration, sort of. I don't want to drive it a lot, just drive it here and there, you know, just to have fun. And, you know, I just hate to see this thing sit here for 5 years waiting its turn, because my wife has made it clear that we have to do something about our Volkswagen. So for all my Volkswagen guys out there, just got to wait a little bit longer. We will be shooting videos on how to put a motor back together, literally putting the motor back together. I've got a case that's split in half, so we got to put it back together after we clean it out, make sure it's all good. And we're going to put it back in the car, get it running, and set that one off. You get it hopefully sold off or something. So, adjuster. If you have any other questions, you know, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them, you know, everybody's questions of what they got. And if you got any ideas for the adjuster, feel free to leave them in the comments. I know my Mopar guys are going to probably beat me silly, you know, over the things I want to do to the car. They seem to be a little bit more particular. That's the nicest word I could think of without getting me kicked off YouTube for saying particular about how cars are restored. You know, I'm not going to do something stupid, radical, where it's just, you know, unforgotten. I would keep this kind of period correct car, but I would make it like what I want it to make it, because this is a car I don't think I'll get rid of. This car has been the one I want, and secretly I've been one to go up against my buddy here. He's got an 89 Firebird with an LS7 in it. And I'd like to see this thing and him, you know, kind of old school, new school, go down the drag strip once, at least once, and see how it does. I think with a 408 and this girl here, we do some good. That could be just me dreaming. There's always been a little thing I've always wanted to do was challenge him. We're both good friends. We've both done, you know, cars, and I finally have a real car that can compete with his now. So I think it'd be a real interesting video to see. So maybe that'll happen one day once we get this thing going. So that's kind of my reason why I want to do this. I don't want to make this a super performance, just a nice street, you know, daily with a little bit of power. Nothing too crazy, just, you know, fun. All right, enough about the Duster. Let's go with the channel updates. So we will be doing Volkswagen videos coming up here soon. We will be doing more Goldwing videos, and for those people that have been patiently waiting, thank you for patiently waiting. I'm sorry, I meant to have those videos out already, but this week, these last 2 weeks, have been super busy. I've been having people bring cars by for me to fix. It's actually the first time in months I've actually had an overflow. I mean, my whole driveway's been looking like a used car lot of all the cars I've had here lately, repairing and fixing in and out. Working as fast as I can to get them out. So that's why some of the videos have been kind of slow. All right, so they will be coming. We got to change the brakes. I've been riding around regularly, just around town, and they're squealing, and I can't wait too much longer. So they're gonna have to get done, and so there will be a video for that. Hopefully sometime this weekend I'll get around to do that. I'll be working on those. All right, I think that is everything. I think I've talked everyone's ear off. I guess I'm just so excited. I'm jumbling all over the place. You know, it's been 5 months since we've owned the car, 3 months since I gave the last update on this car. So it's been a long road just to get the paperwork. So now that we have it, we are free to do what we want on it. So guys, that is going to do it today. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you guys stay safe out there.